We are live. This is Coach Arnie, and this is the Health, Love, and Life Show on the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, TV and podcast. And I'm wearing one of my hats. I don't usually run in this hat because I don't like hats in general. So I do wear visors, but this visor is a little thicker than I like to have very little weight on my head. But I'm wearing it because we're going to talk about adventures tonight, and I've also got I love this shirt only because it reminds me of a time that I just got started in trail running, which led to adventure, and just because we're talking about adventure doesn't mean they have to be adventures where you're riding a motorcycle or going to India or whatever it might be. Adventure is what works for you. Living an adventurous life is what is adventurous for you. I have a client who I've had for 25 years, at least, and his goals in life were to go to all the 7 continents, and he has. He went to Antarctica last year. He went to India this year. I'm not sure what he's planning on doing next. I think he might want to go to Russia, but he's gone to every continent on the planet. And that for him, that's adventure. When he goes there, he stays in hotels. He hires a guide, and they do the sightseeing. But it's adventurous. He's gone for a couple of weeks, and for me, it's climbing a mountain or going on some crazy. But, I was also thinking about today as I was putting some notes together, because my wife was talking about driving across the country, and because my daughter did it this last week. And I thought, yeah, why not? I mean, it's a matter of scheduling it, planning it, doing it. Now, granted, if it was me, because I've done that, it doesn't take me much to get into a car and go. I don't have to plan very much. I can sleep in the car for all I care. And but when you're with other people, it's more elaborate. So the adventure becomes even more adventurous. So I was just on one of my Grand Canyon groups, and because a lot of people are going to the canyon right now, and everybody has a lot of questions, which is why one of the programs that I'm putting together it's a high-end program, but I would coach you to go, let's say, to the Grand Canyon, because most people don't know what are you supposed to do. How do you prepare for something like that? What do you eat, to even get ready? What do you eat when you get there? How do you get there? Where do you stay? Where do you start? Where do you end? All these questions, and then what do I do when I'm down there? Who's going to hold my hand, kind of thing. And all these things are why we don't do adventures, because especially today, because we get inundated with information. 40 years ago, literally almost 40 years ago, let's say 39, I went on a big adventure, not my first. A friend of mine, who's still a friend, was a young man. His dad was my coach, and he was playing baseball up in Oregon, middle of Oregon. And, I think I was a senior in college. Yeah, senior in college. And he needed his truck. So I said, I'll do it. I didn't even hesitate. And I didn't wait around for somebody to go with me. I've always been good at that. That's been maybe a sign that I've always been adventurous. Because a lot of people are adventurous as long as they have a partner, which there's nothing wrong with that. It just a lot of times when we put our faith in other people, they let us down. And how many times have you seen that in a movie, in a book, in your own life, where you had something big planned and they couldn't go with you, and you go, oh, no, I can't go. So would I have taken on a partner? You bet. But but my schedule was not just my schedule, but it was also my friend's schedule. He needed his truck. Because of my school and my work, I was able to basically take a week. And I said, I'm going. I packed a bag. I made a couple phone calls because the first night I stayed basically at his relative's place. And I said, one of the things I've always wanted to do from seeing in the movies was to drive Highway 1 all the way up the coast of California. I said, what a chance. And on somebody else's dime, right? So off I went, got in his truck, took off, and drove over to San Diego and went as far south as I could get to get on Highway 1. And then I started my journey. And what a journey it was, just amazing. Here I am 40 years later talking about it. 40 years later, I'm talking about it, and I talk about it all the time because most people say, well, I always wanted to do that. Yeah, but you didn't. I could, but I always wanted to do that. Well, I did too, but I was 21 years old. And I'm still talking about it. So then that's part of what we're talking about tonight is how an adventure can unlock who you are. It can change your life because you get to discover things about yourselves by doing things like that. Are you adventurous? Do you need other people? Are you willing to take a risk? Because sometimes an adventure requires a risk. Going to the bottom of the Grand Canyon is a risk. What if you twist an ankle? What if you run into a mountain lion? I don't like to think about that because the first time I ever thought about that, I had gone all night to the North Rim with a friend. Well, he was a friend at the time. And he quit on me at the top of the North Rim. Hence my story about going with other people. And I was frustrated. And as I was heading back down the North Rim to talk to him, he had gone down a little ways to get warm. I saw a sign that says, look out for mountain lions. I said, mountain lions. And I thought, woo, it is the wilderness. And there are mountain lions down there. So, but isn't that what makes an adventure an adventure? There is an element of risk to it, right? Whether it's traveling to India on an airplane, stuff happens. Or you could be in India and stuff could happen. You're in a foreign country. You see it in movies all the time, don't we? Makes it an adventure. You meet somebody. When I was single, since my wife's not here, when I was single going on these adventures, I got to discover things about myself with young ladies as well. And you get to, because you're not there relying on your friends. And so you have to kind of figure out who you are. And, or grow up. Or some people go the other way and act like a complete idiot. Okay. Maybe that's who you are when no one's watching. I don't know. But one of the things, and we're going to go over some things here as we talk about this, but the point I was just trying to make there is adventures are different for everybody. Being adventurous is one thing. Being an adventurer is another thing. So people that are adventurous just to like to do things that's different. An adventurer likes to go and do a well planned out adventure that they can learn from, and they can reflect on, and it can change their lives and the people they're with. And I'm telling you the story of driving the coast of California, life changing. And that's what an adventurer does. They're constantly doing somebody who's adventurous, they're the person that's going to, male or female, run over to somebody of the opposite sex or somebody, whoever they're interested in, just say hi. That's an adventurous person. Get it? So let's kind of look at some things and play around with it a little bit, because adventures will unlock who we truly are. And you'll learn about yourself. You'll learn about your weaknesses. You'll learn about your strengths. You'll learn what's in your soul. You'll learn what's in your heart. Okay? And so let's talk about that. So how can an adventure change our life? Well, let's just go through some things here. When you plan something or you do something adventurous, your energy will go up. If you make a decision to go over and ask somebody out on a date or for a phone number, I guarantee you, your heart rate's going and you're heightened. If you're planning a trip, like right now, I've got a trip planned for next week, possibly, could be the week after, and my energy has started to tick up. Even though I've done it many times, I'm going to the Grand Canyon, and my energy is starting to tick up. When I was doing my workout this morning, I'm thinking, okay, this is where I'm doing. This is why I'm doing this right now. I don't want to overdo this, because I'm starting to get the energy going here to do my adventure. Okay, I want to be ready. I want to be at a peak level. Okay, where sometimes I've trained super hard on the day that I went, because I might have been going with somebody, so I wasn't worried about how fast I would do it or how I was just going to grind my way through it. Okay, but again, that was planning. Now this next week, if I go, somebody has wanted to go with me because he wants to get some practice hiking at night on what's called South Kaibab. So we talked today. And I said, well, I'll let you know this weekend, and then you can decide if that's something that you want to do. So he'll drive up there, not with me, but together. And I'll drop him off at what's called Bright Angel. We'll drive over to South Kaibab, and we'll start, and I'll show him what to do. So when he does it, he's going to be doing it in the next few weeks. He'll understand what he needs to do. Okay. So doing that with somebody, it actually, it makes me focus because I want to be helpful. But at the same time, I kind of can gear down a little bit because I have somebody that I'm going to be staying behind. Because I have a rule. Whenever I go with people, I like to lag behind just in case something happens to somebody. Unless I'm going with somebody that's super fit, then I'm just glad they're there because they're going to kind of watch after me. But so it changes things a little bit. So, but your energy does go up. You learn new things. So if you've got an adventure planned or you're in an adventure, it will force you to learn things. If you're traveling, you'll learn about culture and people and food and just all kinds of things. And if you're not open to that, you're not going to have a good adventure. But so you must be open to learning new things. Plus, it makes your adventure bigger. Yeah. So you learn new things through this adventure, whatever it might be. Even if it's just traveling to a new town in your state, you learn things. And that's a good thing. It improves our personal development. Yeah. That thing that we all hate. Everybody's always telling us, we need to work on personal development. I love personal development. My problem is I like too much of it. I like to learn. Most people don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. Reading self-help books, reading inspirational books, reading motivational books, watching videos. I love that stuff. Okay, I really do. But when you're on an adventure, you learn about yourself. When I was driving the coast, California, I learned a lot about myself. I learned just amazing things about people. When I go through the Grand, I was just sending a message to somebody about doing the Grand Canyon at night. I almost prefer that now than the old-fashioned way, which is start early in the morning and finish in the evening, sometimes in the night. And because there's something special about being in the wilderness or being someplace all by yourself in the middle of the night. There's something special about that. Because all you're doing is learning about yourself. And you have to figure things out. And you have some real deep conversations with yourself about life. So yeah, personal development is a big thing. We meet people. I love it. Last year on one of my big trips to the Grand Canyon, I got to meet so many people. I met just so many people. Great conversations. And whether it's in the event or after, post-event or pre-event, you meet people. And that's the neat thing about traveling, adventures, and going over and asking somebody for a phone number. You meet people. It's a big deal. How about you learn what you're capable of? Learn what you're capable of, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. We learn what we're capable of. It's a big one. Some people might get into a 5K. That's an adventure for them. And they learn that they can do it. I have a client now that's training for a triathlon. And he's learning so many things through his journey. And whether he gets to do the race or not, we'll find out tomorrow. But he's learned so much in the last 6 months. Almost in 7 months. He's learned a lot. He's learned a lot. He's learned what he's capable of. And another thing is you get to learn, you put balance in your life. I'm a big fan of when you talk about work-life balance. If something needs to be taken care of at work, do it. If something needs to be taken care of in your personal life, do it. But one of the things about an adventure that it allows you to do is think. It kind of gets you in a place away from everything where you can just think. Because when our brain is relaxed, we can think. And then you can create balance. When I coach executive CEOs, administrator managers, I try to get them to get away at least once a week in a quiet area where they can think, where it's at a coffee shop, going hiking by themselves, going for a bike ride, going to the gym, someplace where they can think. Because we need to be in a place that we can think about what that work-life balance is. Like I said, if stuff needs to be done in one area, take care of it. You can never balance. It's like an airplane flying through the air. It's constantly correcting itself. So work-life balance is constantly correcting itself. When you need more personal time versus work time. You know that. When you're not making enough phone calls or where you're not taking care of yourself. You know that. So you're constantly doing this. You learn the true power of experiences. And when I put that note down, I also put a note about vacations. Think about this for a second. Before that, let's hold that thought. Think about your vacations. Now, hold that thought. We're going to take a break, and just for a few seconds here, and we'll come right back. All right, we are back with the Health, Love, and Life Show, and I'm Coach Arnie, and we've been talking about how adventures can unlock our true selves. We're talking about things that how they can, and we're on one of my points here was on the power of experiences. And I look back as a youngster in our vacations. And most of the time on vacations with your family, weird stuff happened. Car breaks down, hotels just crummy, something happens. That's why the vacation movies with Chevy Chase were so funny, because they reminded all of us of ourselves. But the neat thing about that is we remember those, don't we? Because those memories of crazy things happening bonds us together as a family, bonds us together as a group, maybe a group of guys, or you go with your girlfriend and just weird stuff happens, and you sit back years later and you go, remember when we did that, how crazy that was? You don't remember you do remember some of the good stuff, but you do truly remember the weird, goofy stuff. And I remember one time on a vacation with my buddy, I didn't have any money. And I slept on his patio in San Diego. Him and his wife were in their condo, and I slept on the patio. I didn't care. It was San Diego. I got a ride over, and I paid for my own food. That's about all I did, except for one experience that we went to a restaurant. Here I am. This is, again, 38 years later, maybe, 38. And I'm in a nice restaurant. I'm thinking, I'm going to order this. That looks good. And that's when I learned what market price was. And we've laughed about this for years. So when I get market price, it was like, oops. And I'm looking at my wallet going, this is before our credit cards, believe me. And my buddy goes, don't worry about it, here. And he gave me some extra money. With, we were good friends, and we worked out together, and so paid him back and all that good stuff. But he bailed me out that night, and I got a lesson on what market price was, which means you ask what the price is. But I didn't. But look what I'm talking about 38 years later. That experience, and I can see it in my head right now. It's an experience. It's experience, powerful. And because remember, bottom line with all these little things I just ran through, we remember experiences, not things. I couldn't tell you what I was on that meal. I don't know, clams, shrimp, I don't know. I just remember the experience. I remember who I was with. Isn't that what's important? I don't even know how much it cost. Couldn't tell you. I know I didn't have it in my wallet. So, and just remember, guys, when you're dealing with adventures, the key is starting. Start. And because as you start this journey, this process, people will help you. Be surprised. I'll give you another one. On my journey to Oregon, here I am going along with my buddy's truck. I'm going to a town called Lompoc. I think Vandenberg Air Force Base is over there in California. And I turn off, and then I'm going through this canyon, probably 25, 30 miles to Lompoc, which is on the coast. And all of a sudden, I ran out of gas. I'm driving somebody else's truck. I had no idea. I mean, hey, look, we're kids. When it gets close to E, you got 20 miles. Not in that truck. So there I am. Now remember, that's 1981. There's no cell phones. I'm in the middle of nowhere. What do? Well, that's why you see those movies, people walking. So I locked her up, and I was going to get ready to walk. because I was going to have to buy a gas can and get gas. And all of a sudden, somebody roars up, and I used to call it a hill runner car, souped up Mustang type vehicle, young kids, probably my age, a little younger. He goes, "What's up, man?" I'm going, "I'm ran out of gas." He goes, "Hey, get in, I'll give you a ride." You know, back then we were hitchhiking, we trusted people. It wasn't as crazy as it is today. Hopped in the car. He roared through the mountain, and we were just laughing about everything. Took me to the gas station, put a few bucks in there. Back then, gas was like $1 a gallon, so I could put a couple gallons in there. And whatever the thing was. It was his. And he roared me right back. It was amazing. I wish I could remember his name. But I remember him. I remember the experience. I remember that experience. I told that story for years. I'm telling it today. Experiences. People will help you along the way. But if I never chose to start that journey, I never would have met him. Never would have got help. And the last thing as far as this part, when we'll get into my next section here, is it teaches us to manage life one step at a time. Let's go back to the Grand Canyon. One of the things the canyon teaches you is managing one step at a time. That's how I learned to do the Grand Canyon. I didn't learn to do the Grand Canyon by looking across there and going, "I'm going way over there." That's scary. But as I learned about it, I said, I'm going to go to there. And then I'm going to go to there. If I can just get to there next, then to there. And pretty soon I was managing it one step at a time. And that's what adventures do to you. It helps you to manage your life one step at a time. Because I think all of us are guilty of getting overwhelmed with life. Because life can be overwhelming. You know, personal tragedy, health problems, family problems, relationship problems, financial problems. It's overwhelming. I've been through all of it. For some, it's unbearable. But when you've been in a situation like that on an adventure, it can help you. Because you can always rely on, remember when I did that? I did it. I came out of that thing. It helps you to push through the stuff in life as well. All right. So now next, what I was wanted to talk about, what I consider to be the elements, the pieces of an adventure. I got 4 of them here. 4 pieces of an adventure. Okay. And so an adventure to me is something that allows you to get away from it all. To me, that's an adventure. You know, it's something that allows you to get it. So an adventure to you could be to go for a hike, to go spend a weekend in a motel and just write down your thoughts or just rest. It could be to go spend a weekend in a motel somewhere else. It could be to go on vacation to an amusement park. I don't know. But it's the idea of getting away from it all. To me, the ultimate so far for me has been in the middle of the Grand Canyon in the middle of the night. And looking up in a full moon and seeing the canyon cliffs, listening to the water running through, stars in the air, and just focus on what's ahead. Get away from it all. Element number 1. Element number 2 is to be inspired. I think all of us in life are looking for things that inspire us. Things to look forward to. And without that, makes life hard. And with that, it's one of those elements of an adventure that will, if it's something that you look forward to because it inspires you to maybe to exercise or to plan or to whatever you're going to do, inspires us. Three, motivation. Learning to dig deep inside of us. Let's unpack that just for a second. Unlike inspiration, which kind of like gets us there, it inspires us to follow through the planning, everything that gets us there. Because a lot of people can't get out of the harbor, you know? When we talked about change before, they can't get out of the safe place in their life. They need to be inspired. They need to be ignited to take off. But once you take off, then motivation has to kick in to help you to push through it, to dig in, to work through your weaknesses, your fears, your insecurities that will many times stop us from even doing an adventure because it's scary. Well, I don't want to do that by myself because that's scary. I got to go with a group. Okay, maybe that's the way for you to start your adventure. Nothing wrong with that. Problem is, if the group doesn't go, then you don't go. So you're putting your expectations on other people. If I had done that on my trip up the coast, may never have done it. I did it one time in the Grand Canyon and didn't get to finish. So I learned my lesson. So, but motivation is going to help you to dig deep when stuff happens on that vacation, when the car breaks down, when the hotel reservation's not made. You know, I don't know. I've had weird stuff happen. I remember when I was a young kid, here's another adventure. I was a competitive power lifter, and I was at Teenage Nationals. My very first time on an airplane, I was 19 years old. And I flew to Fort Worth, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. Went over there, had a nice hotel. I thought, well, you know, I did all this myself. My mom didn't help me. I made my reservation. I think it was a Holiday Inn, wherever it was. I figured I was smart, figured this thing out. Remember, I'm the guy 2 years later or 3 years later that was buying a market price. Okay, I was buying market price. Well, 3 years earlier, I was getting a hotel. So I did well. I had a great time, met some wonderful people, all the things we just talked about. Lifelong friends. And getting ready to check out at the hotel and going up there to pay my bill. Remember, no credit card, cash. And the guy goes, well, Arnie, that'll be X. And I go, what? That's not what I saw on my thing. Oh, no. And then he explained everything. And I go, wow, I had no idea. I thought I got that other one, you know, market price, remember? And then out of the blue, somebody behind me said, I'll help you with that. I said, what? And a complete stranger said, I'll help you with that. He paid my bill. I looked at him and I said, you know what? As soon as I get home, I'm going to send this money to you. As soon as I get home. He goes, I'm not worried about it. I know you will. And I remember on my way to the airport, I had my trophy. I was sitting in the back seat of a cab, and this young fellow and his girlfriend were driving this cab. I think they were drunk. He's whipping through the streets because I got to get there because I'm running late. I go, I got to get to the airport. He goes, I'll get you there. And we're whipping through the streets of Dallas. and screeching tires, and I didn't care because I figured he's going to get me there. And he got me to the airport on time, and I got in their airplane, came home, and I forgot how probably my mom or dad picked me up from the airport. I don't know. Somebody else. My sister, maybe. I don't know. As soon as I came through the door, I said, "Hey, Mom, I need a check for X." And I got her the money. I need a check. This guy did this. And she goes, "Okay." Wrote out the check. I might have written it. Who knows? Back then, we didn't have, it was cash. I was working. I wasn't coaching yet. I might have been working at a health club. And boy, I got that check in the mail. Literally that next day. That's right. Now, when that guy got that check, do you think he thought he was going to get it? He might have. But I know this, when he got that check, he thought to himself, I'm going to do that again. Remember what I told you earlier? People will, once you make the effort, people will help you. Motivation. And then the last element is living your dream. Guys, I'm telling you right now, I don't care if you're my age, 60, 61, or you're half my age, or you're 21 or 20. If you have a dream in your heart and there's an adventure in there, if you're not pushing towards it, you're making a mistake, because life's going to get in your way and you're going to regret it. And we're going to talk about that here as we finish up. So how do we get adventure into our life? So what do we need to do to get it into our life? So we talked about what it does to us. We talked about what it is. Now, how do you get it going? First thing you got to do is shake it up. You got to shake up your life. Hey, if you're like me, you get a routine. I get up early every morning. I do my journaling. I do some exercise. Then I either go to the gym or I start my work day with making phone calls, or I have a client. But you got to shake it up. If shaking it up means if you're going to do a 5K or a half marathon or something crazy, then that means you're going to have to work in some physical activity into your life. If you're going to start dating again, then you need to do the things that's going to get you ready for dating. Maybe join a dating site. Maybe take care of yourself. Get yourself in shape. Get a new hairstyle. Whatever. I don't care. Fix your clothes up. Whatever you need to do. That's not my deal. It's your deal. You have to decide that. But you got to shake it up. And that's how you maybe sign up for a class or buy a ticket and just go, like I did to driving up the coast. Just go. Especially if you're not tied down. Shake it up. And then you have to add a third place. You want to get adventure going in your life? Add a third place to go in your life. Most people go from home to work and back. Well, I have third places. I have my gym, which is an underground gym, a special place that I go and I get to escape because there's some neat people there that I love. And I love being there. I love to talk to the young people. I love to talk to the old people. I just love this place. Okay? Third place. Could be a coffee shop, for all I know. But add a third place because that'll start to break up your routine. For me, it's on the mountains. If I go hiking every weekend, that's my third place. My fourth place. Visualize what you want to accomplish. Visualize where you want to go. Think about it. Once you start to visualize it on a regular basis, you'll start doing things about it. Your body will start doing things about it. Your mind will start doing things about it. And before you know it, you'll be doing it. But you got to visualize. You got to see yourself in Africa. Got to see yourself in some adventure. Got to see yourself in that date. You got to see yourself in whatever you're wanting to do in your heart. Visualize. Travel. Start traveling. part of a travel group, go on a cruise. You don't have to go with people, but if you want to, that's fine. There's groups that go, but go on your own and be adventurous. Travel. One of the greatest ways to just be on an adventure, because adventures will happen to you every single day. You meet new people every day, people that don't know you, and you don't know them, but you get to learn about them. Travel. Learn things. If you've got a curiosity in your heart, something that you're interested in, whether it's, I don't know, Egyptian history or Civil War history or whatever, I don't care. Learn about it. Go to the library. Look at Google it. Learn about it. When you're Googling, watching YouTube videos and Googling it, all of a sudden you'll go, oh, look at that, goingsolotravelers.com. That's Cece's thing right there. I didn't even know that. Bam, there it is. Okay, but do your homework. Doing your homework about an adventure will put you into the adventure. Okay. Number 6, meet new people. Holy crap. When you meet new people, each person is an adventure. And it doesn't have to be for an intimate relationship. It just could be for a friend. Go down to the freaking Starbucks, if they're allowing you to, and go in there and meet somebody. It could be anybody. Go to the gym and do it if they allow you to. I mean, who knows what all these rules right now, but as things start to open up again, meet people. Hiking, meet people. You'd be surprised. Go for a walk around your block. I bet you're going to meet somebody new. Meet new people. It's a beautiful thing. Last 2 I put here is initiate. Make it happen. If you're going to be on an adventure, which your life is an adventure, it's up to you. Don't wait for somebody else to make you go on an adventure. That's their adventure. You do it. You initiate something. You initiate, I don't know, something that you want. You want to get in shape. You initiate, you want to go travel. You initiate, you want to go hike a mountain. You initiate it. You do it. You do it. Don't wait for somebody else to drag you along on their adventure. That's great, but that's a crapshoot. You initiate it. And lastly, choose. Yeah. Hard choices. Choose to do these things. Choose to go on an adventure. Choose to shake it up. Maybe you need to move. For some of us, maybe it's just a new hairstyle. Choose. Because the bottom line is this, as I end tonight. At the end of the day, when you're 90 or 100 or 110 or 120 or next week, no regrets. You know, as much as crazy stuff that's going on in my life, I always fall back on, at the end of the day, with all these trips that I do, the Grand Canyon, to other places, because people are always talking about it with me, because they're not doing it. And I was talking to a lady today. I was pulling a tire down the street. She goes, "What are you doing that for?" I'm going, "Grand Canyon." She goes, "Oh, wow." She's never done it. I go, "Yeah, it's my 12th trip." Oh my goodness. See, because I don't want to have any regrets. Because a lot of these things that I'm asking you to do today don't cost a lot of money. They take time. They take a commitment. So you sitting around watching TV takes time and a commitment. But is it costing you in the long run? I don't know. That's something you have to choose. Because I know this, at the end of the day, it's not about stuff. It's about memories and experiences. All right, guys. Coach Arnie. And if anybody's interested in learning about adventures, if anybody's interested in learning more about how they can do this, give me a call, text me, or call me 602-3909. You can email me. But let's talk about what your adventure is and how to get ready for it, how to do it, how to get off the dime in your life. All right, guys, this is Coach Arnie. I love you. And hopefully I'll see you next week. I might be on an adventure, but you'll know because we'll talk about it. All right, guys, love you.